Hey, this is Gail from A Seat at the Table podcast. Now, you already know that Anchor is the easiest way for you to record. We already know that. You already know that Anchor gives you everything you need in one place for free. They'll distribute your podcast to all the major labels, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, the Google Podcasts, and you can easily make money from your podcast with no minimum listenership. Listen, I understand that you girls are out here spending money on studios and what have you, but if you're smart, you'll download Anchor app right now. Go to anchor.fm to get started. Tell them A Seat at the Table podcast sent you. It's after midnight and she's on your phone, begging come over 'cause she's all alone. I could tell it was your ex by your tone. How is she calling now after so long? Now what is it that she wants? And what is it that she needs? Did she hear about the brand new Benz that you just bought for me? 'Cause y'all ain't had no kids, ain't shared no mutual friends. And you told me that she felt sick when y'all broke up in 96. What you gonna do when they can't say no? And I feeling such a sure how you gonna act, how you gonna handle that? What you gonna do when she wants you back? What you gonna do when you can't say no? What you gonna do? You know what? All the girls who sang during that TRL era, you know, didn't they have like a very light, whispery voice? These girls weren't singers. They weren't like real singers. They were performers. They were cute. They could dance. You know what I mean? They were cute. The formula was you had to be, outside of Brandy, okay? Because Brandy and Monica, I guess, would you consider them TRL girls? I wouldn't. All right, so here's the real tea. I could not stay away from you. This week was just chocked full of nuts, honey. And I just felt like, why not a catch-up session? So light the blunt, nigga. Where's the blunt? Light the blunt, okay? Because I'm back. And I'm here. The Queen Edition. Think you're going to disrespect me? All right, so it's an all-new edition of a Seat at the Table podcast. This is quite unexpected for both of us, but don't act like we're not the kind of friends who can't just show up at each other's houses unannounced, okay? What kind of friends are we if I can't just come to your crib? If I got to announce myself every time I come to your crib, then are we friends? I don't know. Anyway. So much going on. I don't want to waste a moment of your time because, well, I am the pink starburst. And let's just go ahead and just have it all right now. We'll take the yellow ones and the orange ones. We'll put them to the side. And I will be your pink and red starburst for the day. Okay. So I'm your hostess with the mostest, Gail. You can find us, Seat at the Table podcast, A Seat at the Table pod. No, isn't that it? All one word on Instagram. You could also find me at Galanda, GAILANDOADAMS. Galanda. Damn it, that's wrong. ANDA. No, ONDA. ADAMS. You know what? I don't know. Anyways. You guys, what a crazy week has this been, okay? First of all, let's just celebrate the fact that we made it through August. We are halfway through August already. And here we are. We're still alive to tell the tale. Because July was crazy and fucked up. But here we are. It's August and a lot of things are happening. First of all, let's just get right into it. So if you were following the Instagram girls earlier this week, you know there was a lot of manufactured beefing going on between One, Queen, Onika, Tanya Mirage versus everybody. So without going into the long drawn out version of this, so apparently, Onika has a problem with everyone, and she let that be known on this week's edition of Queen Radio, which featured Madison of Queen's Court as well as Joe Budden. She basically told Joe Budden that he was a piece of shit floating in a pot of piss, to which Joe Budden promptly responded and questioned her drug use, which her response was to ask him if that's how his mother taught him how to respect women, which really didn't get anywhere with anything. Then she appeared on his show, the Joe Budden podcast, where she later just went into more asking of the respect from people. You know, here's the whole thing. Here's the whole kit and caboodle with Nicki Minaj, because I really just don't even want to get into all of this. But the kit and caboodle with Nicki Minaj is that I'm not sure whose respect she's vying for, because she knows that she has a very solid fan base. Her music has not matched the level of bravado that has been coming with her. I know that arguably a lot of people think that Queen Radio, or Queen, the album, or whatever the shit was called, was her last album, was one of her greatest efforts. Another group of people say that it was one of her worst efforts. What I do know is that she recently did a song with Meg Thee Stallion, the Hot Girl remix. And the song is okay. It's okay. I actually think that her song with Trina, Baps, is a better song. I think that the lyrics in that song actually match the production value, whereas I think that it was kind of like an afterthought to get her on the Hot Girl remix. I think that the whole emergence of getting Trina involved, I think Trina just got caught in the crossfire. I don't even think that this manufactured beef, because let's be honest, if you listen to both Queen Radio and you listen to the Joe Budden podcast, you got to learn a couple of things. Number one, obviously there was some drug use in Nicki Minaj's past. Or I don't know if it's questionable about her present, but Joe Budden definitely brought up that there was a drug issue involved with Nicki Minaj. That's what I learned. Number two, I also learned that this beef that took over the internets, that took over Al Gore's internets earlier this week, was probably more manufactured to get us to talk about Nicki Minaj as well as Joe Budden, which it did. It brought a lot of attention to both parties. We tuned into both shows. I did, for sure, and I don't regularly listen to Joe Budden, but I thought it was worth it, given that they were going to take so much time to manufacture a beef, that I take a listen to both. I also learned that whatever that she said to Joe Budden, she has said to him, obviously, several times. Whatever beef that she has with Charlemagne is not really real beef. Because here's the thing. At the end of the day, Nicki Minaj, who the fuck cares about what these people think? I was never going to be dissuaded by what Safari has to say about you, about what DJ Envy has to say about you, about what Charlemagne or Joe Budden, for that matter, have to say about you. I have always been persuaded by your influence and by what you've done out there and what you've had to say. So I don't think that you necessarily need to be worried about what it is that these men have had to say about you. Now, I know that that's easier said than done, because as much as you're saying that you don't give a fuck about these niggas, you're taking precious time out of your life to convince others that what these niggas is saying is bullshit. So you care. On some level, you care. And that's human nature. But I just feel like for you to waste your time when you've already, this respect that you're talking about that you're not getting, you've got it, girl. You've got it. All of those men have basically said that you've opened up a lane in hip hop that is undeniable. Okay, just as Lil' Kim and Foxy Brown and Missy and Trina all opened up lanes for Nicki Minaj's to exist in the world and Cardi B. I think both of you guys, I think both you and Cardi have opened up lanes for hip hop now where a Megan Thee Stallion can exist. But I also think that you hear other influences there. So, listen, I don't know why there is such a, I don't know why on your part, Onika, you really are spending this much time with this. I wish that you would spend this much time working on the business that pays you. And that's not shade. I love Nicki Minaj. But I just don't know what it's going to take for her to adopt a more Trina-like attitude and just say, girl, fuck it. Anyways, so as much time as she spent, and I don't think she spent a lot of time talking about, I think actually, you know what, I take that back. I think she spent too much time talking about this whole Cardi B motorsport thing. And she even said that she hated the fact that she was dedicating this much power to this. So girl, stop. Because honestly, that's what the Barbs and the Carbs want to hear. The Barbs and the Carbs want to hear you and Nicki going at it for days. And honestly, you and Cardi going at it for days. And honestly, it seems like Cardi is less than bothered enough to release her own Instagram shady posts, but unbothered enough to be going on about her business. But in other news, can we talk about Missy Elliott finally receiving the MTV Video Vanguard Award? I mean, all I got to say about it is it was time. Here's the other thing that I have to say. Please don't give us a Tiana Taylor featured performance dedicated to Missy Elliott. I much would rather see Missy Elliott perform. I mean, I don't want to see anybody else perform a Missy Elliott tribute. I don't. Unless it's going to be also songs that Missy has written, I will take that by the artist. Like if Beyonce comes out and sings like Signs, which I know is a long shot, but nothing would tickle my pickle more. So yeah, we're excited about that. Are we also excited about the fact, come on. All right. So I know a lot of you have much to do to say about this whole Jay-Z Rock Nation thing, right? Oh God, you guys, I'm so sleepy from being woke. I'm so sleepy from it. First of all, here's the facts that we know. We know that the optics on this Rock Nation NFL deal are not good. The optics are not good. For this to happen right around the time that Colin Kaepernick's celebrated his anniversary, and we find out through a New York Times article, an interview with Jay-Z, that Jay-Z did not talk to Colin Kaepernick about it, and now it is being alleged that Jay-Z will in fact be becoming part owner of an NFL team. Listen, the optics on all of this seem to be really crazy. Jay-Z did a sit-down interview with Roger Goodell, who is, I guess, the president of the NFL. He's the NFL commissioner. Whatever. He's the big guy of the NFL, Roger Goodell. Jay-Z's thing is we've kneeled, right? Okay. We've got to graduate past kneeling. Me having Rock Nation take an active part in what influences the NFL is me being able to have a quote unquote, no pun intended, seat at the table in which I get to influence the culture. And this will move the needle socially forward. I think that there is, first of all, here's the thing. Jay-Z is not a god to me. Jay-Z is just a man. A man who is human and able to err